Hi, welcome to Surviving Motherhood. So I'm still reading about King David in my quiet times. I'm in 2 Samuel right now. And this morning I read something that gave me such a beautiful picture of God's grace. And I want to share that with you today. Now, just to bring you up to speed where David is in life right now, he has slept with Bathsheba. She became pregnant. David had her husband killed, took her into his home to make her his wife, so it looks like everything is good. Well, he didn't make it obvious that he had had her husband killed. That was supposed to look like an accident, so he kind of looks like a hero by bringing her into his home. Anyway, God sees through this. He knows, and he sends Nathan to David to say, look, God knows what's happened, and your son that Bathsheba has, he's going to die. Well, of course, David doesn't want this to happen, and he goes through all this fasting and praying and trying to get God to change his mind, but that didn't happen. I want to read for you starting in 2 Samuel 12, verse 19. It says, David noticed that his servants were whispering among themselves, and he realized the child was dead. Is the child dead? He asked. Yes, they replied, he is dead. Then David got up from the ground. After he had washed, put on lotions, and changed his clothes, he went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he went into his own house, and at his request they served him food, and he ate. And right there in the middle of that passage is the picture of grace that I saw this morning. He went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. I tried to picture in my mind what that might have looked like. David has just committed a couple of really great sins. He's feeling ashamed. He hears the judgment of God. He's trying to get God to change his mind. He's trying to be a man of God, fasting and praying and seeking God, and nothing changes. God's judgment still happens. And then David gets up and he goes in and worships. And I just wondered, I tried to picture in my mind what that would have looked like. David worshiping before God, probably on his knees, probably in tears, recognizing his own sinfulness. He knows everything he's done. He knows God's judgment is right. Yeah, he wishes God would have changed his mind. He wishes his son would still be alive. But David knew that God was right. He was just. And even in the middle of that, I have to believe David recognized God's love and grace for him. He was there, a broken man, totally deserving everything that had happened to him, but also recognizing the grace of God. I'm sure he sat there, probably laid flat on the floor, recognizing his sin, recognizing his shame, and recognizing that God had forgiven him, that God would restore him. He was God's anointed king. God chose him. And David worshiped. And I just saw that picture in my mind, that picture of grace. David didn't deserve forgiveness. David didn't deserve to be the king. He didn't deserve to have all these things that God had given him. But God did it anyway. And I don't know where you are today. I don't know what kind of failures, kind of disappointments you're dealing with in your own life. But I know the grace of God is sufficient for you. And I pray that God will speak his love through me today to you. That is my prayer, that you would be overwhelmed by the grace and the love of God. He is for you. He loves you. And he will do everything that is good and right in your life. You can trust that. Now have a wonderful, Jesus-full day.